There is no doubt about it, Structure and Style from IEW is a fantastic program. They have 3 different levels that'll walk your children through a great, solid program that'll help them be equipped to be better writers. And while this program is amazing, for some it can seem a little daunting, or maybe you're somebody who has been using it but wants to know, how can I use this more efficiently or make it work better for my child and their specific situation? Today, I'm going to share with you guys some hacks that I have learned after using this program with my kids for several years now in hopes that it will help you. So let's get started. First up, let's talk about the video component of this program. The videos are designed for Andropudwa to teach your child and to be engaging for them. However, if you find the videos to be too overwhelming, one simple hack is to actually split it up and put it in smaller chunks. It currently is already divided into 2 chunks, but those can last anywhere from 30 minutes to 45 minutes and even sometimes 50 minutes of watch time at one point. For my middle schoolers, this is not a problem whatsoever, but if you are working with a younger child, you might prefer to divide it yourself. This is really easy to do, and I want to encourage you not to skip over this important hack. When it comes to speed, our kids all process information differently, and they can take in information at different speeds. For my oldest son, he is autistic. He has auditory processing disorder. He thinks that the pacing of the videos is perfect. He loves Andropudwa's talk, the way that he makes the dad jokes and the funny interactions. And so for him, watching it at a typical speed is just perfect. But for some of my kids with ADHD, they find the way he talks to be a little bit slow. So one of the hacks we have found is to simply click the little gear icon in the bottom right corner of the video, and you can simply speed up the video by 1.5 or even 2 times speed if that fits your child's learning style best. But what if your kids are not interested in the video portion at all? Well, you don't have to utilize it. You can actually watch the videos yourself as a teacher and then teach it to your children. For me, that's not the best fit because the whole reason I wanted this curriculum is so I could be a little more hands-off, but that might be a better fit for you and your family. When it comes to writing the actual papers, a few things that we have found that have helped is to have my kids work on their keyword outlines or their notes during the video lessons via hand and actually writing out those notes. But when it comes to typing up their rough drafts or their final drafts of their paper, they prefer to type it. This has been significantly helpful to them in making the editing process smoother, less pushback as some of my kids fatigue easily with writing, and it allows my kids to be able to use features like speech to text for some of my dyslexic learners who really struggle with spelling. If you are working with a younger child and typing is not that easy, speech to text is not an option, then you can always have them dictate to you what they want to write. So they can simply tell you what they want to say and you write it out. They'll still do the editing process. They're still doing the hard work of putting all of the words into sentences and giving it that structure and that style, but you're able to kind of adapt it to their level and to where they are at. When it comes to pacing with this program, it is designed to be done in a 1-year time frame, but some kids may be able to complete it faster or need more time. Don't feel limited by the suggested schedule. It is simply just a suggestion, and find the pace that fits your child best. You could take the program over 1.5 years or even 2 years if you desire. But what I find is instead of trying to nail down the exact pacing at the beginning of the year, follow your child's lead. For instance, the beginning units and levels are very simple for kids as they're learning about keyword outlines, but this program builds on each other. And as you get into harder concepts, your child might all of a sudden start to struggle. At that point, feel free to take a week or 2 weeks or more to do a lesson instead of feeling like you have to keep up with the same consistent pace all throughout the year. This might seem like a simple tip or something that you've already thought of, but for many, they feel very bound to those suggested schedules, and nobody wants that for you, especially IEW. They want you to go at your child's specific pace. But what about the editing? The dreaded editing that we all hate to do. Okay, maybe not all, but definitely this is the part that has made teaching my kids to write the biggest struggle. What I do love about IEW is they give you a simple checklist for you to follow. So you don't have to wonder, do I correct this and this and this? I just simply go through the checklist and make sure that they have the components that are needed. And if they don't, I write a note about that. With it though, it can still be a challenge if you have multiple kids going through the program to be able to edit them all. So I suggest taking advantage of peer editing, maybe having a sibling or an older friend be able to look over their papers and give them some initial notes. We utilize grandparents, and my mom reads over their papers and gives them notes. This will help break down a lot of fights and disagreements, in my opinion, as it is not mom being the only person to give feedback. So my kids take their papers and get them edited by grandma, and then they bring them home and I do the final look through with them. But one of the reasons we enjoy typing our papers is because you can easily email them back and forth, even if your editor is far away, and they are able to go through and highlight the things that need to be fixed and then make their notes at the bottom. This makes it easy for kids to go in and fix the editing instead of having to rewrite the entire paper, and to make sure they're not missing some of those editing notes. And if editing still seems too overwhelming, be sure to keep up with IEW social media, because they recently announced that coming summer of 2024, they are going to be releasing a new tool that will help you with automatic editing. I can't wait to learn more about this and what all it entails, but I know that this is going to be a helpful tool for many. When it comes to organizing this curriculum, one common concern that I hear, and honestly something I fell into as well, was really struggling with the way that they have you set up your notebook. I asked my mom, because she has been teaching IEW for well over 10, 15 years now, and asked her, hey, is there something I'm missing? Is there a specific reason or method to the reason why they organize the notebook in the way that they do, that if I don't have my kids do it that way, it's gonna really mess them up later on in the program? And she was like, no. The idea is to teach your kids how to organize their work in a way that they can easily find what they need when they need it, and in a way that teaches them those study skills to be able to organize future papers. But if it's not working for your child in the way that IEW lays out for you to organize it, then don't do it. For my kids, once they complete their work, they bring to me their rough draft, their outline, their final draft, their checklist, and their source text, all stapled together, and bring that to me, and I file it away. So it completely leaves the notebook once they are completed with that project. You could simply have a smaller binder or folder that only holds their current project if it's overwhelming for them to have all of the other pieces available to them, or consider adding the schedule just in your teacher notebook. Just kind of separating out and segmenting out the different pieces can be very helpful. One of my kids actually found it helpful to just have a clipboard of their current IEW papers that they needed, and then they could file it back away in the folder when they were done with it. But you might be saying, Katie, what about all of those important word lists, the band list, or the ly adverbs? Where are those supposed to go if you kind of divide up the binder? Well, first of all, they can still be there, but something that I have found to be extra helpful is to just utilize IEW's portable word walls. They have word walls for their fixed grammar, for IEW structure and style. They have ones for their public speaking class, and more. These portable walls are sort of a cheat sheet of a lot of different ly adverbs, banned words, things like that. Yes, they do contain different components that may or may not have been introduced yet, but I don't mind that. We just utilize what they are currently on, and this makes an easy reference tool for them. You can also do this by creating a spiral notebook, putting tabs in it, and just having that be their own personal reference chart if you want a cheaper way to go about doing that. The point in all of this is to make it work for you and your family. Drop down below ways that you guys have adapted structure and style to fit you and your family. And if you want to learn more about IEW's Fix It Grammar, be sure to check out this video here.